guys, Julia here from JM Squared Vintage. Welcome back to the channel. I am here today with an absolutely enormous bins haul. And I gotta say this, I'm pretty sure that at least in terms of resale value, with the exception of the day that I found a Chanel couture suit in the bins, I'm pretty sure that this is one of, if not the best, resale value hauls I have ever done. Insane vintage, great bolos, like you name it, I found it. I literally had to stop myself because the gettins were that good at the bins that day. And like vibes were high too. A bunch of my buddies were there. We were all finding good stuff. Like those are the days truly that keep us going. But before we get started here, guys, if this is your first time here, if this is your first time stumbling on my channel, first and foremost, welcome. I am Julia. That is my name. We talk all things thrifting and vintage and the business of reselling on the internet here. If that sounds like something that you might be into, consider hitting subscribe down below. I would love to have you along on this journey. But without further ado, guys, it is kind of late in the afternoon and we have a lot to talk about. I think I've got about 50 pieces here. So when I say a lot, I mean a lot. I'll do my best to keep this like not 3 hours. But with all that being said, guys, why don't you go grab yourself a snack, grab yourself a drink. You know I've got my matcha latte. Like I said, it's kind of late in the afternoon, so I'm taking it light. So sit back, relax, and let's get into the goods. Okay, where to start? Literally my bags are up to here. It's very tall. Just start right at the top. So the first piece I grabbed was this little Chico's gem. Now I have not been picking up a ton of Chico's, but I thought that this was so stinking cute. This is a super lightweight silk cotton jacquard. It is pretty sheer. I think you can see that here. It's this like lightweight jacket. And I think that this goes so well with like fashion right now. This is very, to me, very like artsy, but with the sheerness, with the kind of more saturated color. I feel like this goes very well with what is happening in the larger scope of fashion. This is, by the way, like perfect condition. I think that this might be vintage as well, maybe vintage from like the late 90s, maybe early 2000s. But again, silk cotton, it is a size 0, which is a size I generally don't grab from Chico's. This was more of a style pickup than it was a brand pickup, but that's okay. I think I'll probably see somewhere around maybe 30 bucks on this, maybe a little bit more with the fabric content. So pretty, right? Very different. I feel like I've never seen anything like that from Chico's. Next up, this is a piece from Uniqlo, which I generally, like I see a lot of regular Uniqlo pieces in the bins, but I leave most of them behind, with the exception being some of their collaborations. This is a collaboration that they did with Comptoir de Cotonnier. I think I'm saying that right, probably butchering it. These are basically sweatpant trousers. This is like a thick fleece that looks like tweed, but is actually basically fleece, right? So these kind of pieces from Uniqlo, I mean, like they're never gonna sell for a ton unless you have like some of the really rare pieces. But I've sold these pants before and I've gotten like 25 or 30 bucks for them. And I would anticipate getting probably right around the same amount this time. Man, Uniqlo's quality for the price that you pay for like their retail price is out of this world. If you are in the market for like solid basics and you have a Uniqlo close to you, like available to you, please check there first because bang for your buck, you do not get better. Next up, I found this great little Lululemon t-shirt. Now, this is 100% something I found by feel. This is like a lyocell jersey. It's gently ribbed. It's like this cream color. It still has the tear tag on the inside. They're still making this shirt. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head. It is in my spreadsheet. I'll put it down on the screen. But these retail for I think about $68, and on the secondhand market, they're going for like 30 to 35. So again, I'm selective with what I'm picking up from Lululemon, but stuff like this in particular, the stuff that is not just workout gear, but is like both workout and like street gear, this could just as easily be a t-shirt that somebody throws on like a Saturday afternoon as it could be somebody, you know, going for a run. These are the kind of things that still sell super, super well from Lululemon. I found in general, with the exception of just the plain Align pants and the Align like flare pants, really their workout stuff, while still exceptional quality and great, you know, if you're in the market for gym stuff yourself, but in terms of resale value, like their tank tops, their women's tank tops, their women's like leggings, even their men's workout shirts have come down a little bit. Men's stuff in general will still sell a little bit better than women's. I think it's just less saturated. But the easy way to differentiate if you're not quite sure, if you're just getting started, is keep your eyes out a little bit more for those kind of crossover pieces that aren't necessarily like workout specific. I say that as I'm wearing one of their crossover pieces. It's a perfect example of something that would sell very, very well. Next up, here's a blast from the past from anybody in the 80s. I saw this and I'm like, oh my God, this just unlocked such a deep memory for me. And it's this amazing vintage sweatshirt from Voyager. Who remembers this? Let me know. I sent a picture of this to my dad, who's like a big aviation nerd. And I'm like, do you remember this? And he came back with like all the stats on it. Of course he did. But this definitely a commemorative sweatshirt from the era. Like you can kind of see the remnants of the tag here. I mean, this just feels like the most perfectly broken in sweatshirt ever. And it's overall in like excellent condition considering the age. This happened, I think it was in 85 or 86. So considering the fact that this is about like 40 years old, it is in exceptional condition. There's like a little pinhole here in the V insert and a couple little like speckles, but overall no tears, no rips. I'll probably see, I don't know, 30 to 40 bucks on this. And I'm sure it'll go to some av geek kind of like me. You may not know that about me, but my dad is an aviation nerd and I'm like to a much lesser extent than he is also a bit of an aviation nerd. So I will rehome this to somebody who would really love to have it, but what a great find. Next up, this is another one that I am fairly positive is vintage. This is a Jack Nicklaus shirt. And again, in terms of golf shirts, I don't pick up a ton of them unless they have like a famous, golf club on them or it's a brand that like I know is in really like hot demand. The reason I grabbed this is because of the fabric. I don't know if you're seeing the detail there, but this is like an interesting kind of semi-sheer mesh. The size on this is 100, which tells me that this is Korean made. And it looks like Jack Nicklaus has licensed his name and it looks like it is a pretty booming golf brand in Korea. But I do think that this is vintage from the 80s and there's just like a couple tells on that. And the thing that I thought was very sweet, and this is something that I'm sure golfers who are around in the 80s are very like familiar with. But when I was looking it up, I discovered that Jack Nicklaus, this is so sweet. Jack Nicklaus always wore yellow when he competed on Sundays and started this movement called like Play Yellow. And it was his nod to the Children's Miracle Network, which he did a ton of work with. So if you have any yellow golf shirts, you want to use like Play Yellow as one of your keywords. Just like an interesting little tidbit, which I found extremely heartwarming in a land of otherwise dismal news days. So just like a little piece of something that I found particularly heartwarming and could be a little bit of a keyword if you're sitting on something that's yellow. So anyway, I'm not quite sure what I'll get for this, maybe like 20, 25 bucks, somewhere around there. And I think more so because it's so unusual versus anything brand related, but very cute, right? I mean, you'll certainly stand out on the course. Next up, ooh, this was an exciting find. I've actually never found one of these before. So this is a J. Crew dress, and it's got this little like cutout section in the middle, and the fabric felt really nice when I grabbed it. And it's funny because it's one of those things that like from far away you can totally tell what it is, but when you get up close, it's very, very blurry. It's a Monet. But the interesting thing about this, because I don't pick up a ton of J. Crew, is that this is J. Crew made with Liberty fabric. And that is what makes this a bolo. Liberty, if you are unfamiliar, is mostly a fabric shop. And they make the most gorgeous cotton lawn. It's very, very expensive. It's very prestigious in the world of manufacturing. So this is kind of akin to making a blazer and saying that it's being made with Loro Piana wool, right? The reason I pointed out that it said that it's made with Liberty fabric is that Liberty is also known for its prints. In particular, not necessarily this, but in particular, they're like ditzy floral prints. So they have done a collaboration with H&M in the past, but the collaboration with H&M was done with a Liberty print, not a Liberty fabric. The fabric is the important thing. The fabric is the stuff that is in demand. So this dress in particular is reselling in the like $50 to $60 range. Some of the dresses that J. Crew did with like the classic ditzy floral Liberty fabric are reselling over $100. So keep your eyes out for that label. It's definitely a bolo. Comfortably pay up for it. You will probably feel the difference in the fabric. This feels like such a dream. Next up, I got this great little open weave cardigan. This is from J. Jill. Another one I haven't seen a lot of great pieces from recently, but it's open front. It's a classic silhouette, so very just timeless. It's long line. It's got those long little side vents. This is something you could throw on over like a bathing suit, something you could throw on over like a tank top in the summer. It is a size small. I don't think that that's gonna hold this up just being like what it is. And something like this from J. Jill, I'll probably get somewhere between like $30 and $40 on it. I love the feel of this like lightweight open knit linen. It's just gorgeous. So good little find here. Next up, this is something I could not leave behind. This is the most delicious little vintage dress I've maybe ever seen. And unfortunately, it does have some damage to it. And I'm gonna guess that this is like late 60s because it does have a vinyl zipper, and that's generally something you can date to like after the mid 60s. But I do not think that this was much after that at all. But it is this red kind of fit and flare dress, but look at this skirt. I am so very obsessed. So this is open cut work. You can kind of see my skin through the holes there. There are little bows on all of those little joints, and look at these big bows. There's a couple of them throughout the dress. There's one here, there's one here, there's another one here. And going by the shape of these, I think that these are actually like bow ties. I think that these are actually men's bow ties that have been kind of folded into place here because they're like double-sided, but it's more like the shape of the strips. Let me know if you're looking at this and you're really familiar with men's bow ties, like let me know if you think this as well. Here's the issue. This does have some damage. I think that this was hung on like a wire hanger for a very long time. So along the top of the shoulder, there's this like basically a run kind of goes into the sleeve on this one, and this one it's a little bit less intense, but I figure like I will get this to somebody who's got a little bit of sewing chops, who can either maybe put like a little grosgrain strip on top of this, you know, do something to either like seal this damage in, or maybe even like take the skirt off and just make a standalone skirt out of this. This is something that deserves to be saved. So I will be doing a little bit more research to see if I can figure out something about this. I don't think any tags on the inside here, but there is a little tag here. Oh, interesting. So this is from Ophelia in Madrid. So this is a Spanish dress, a Spanish designer of some sort. Let me show you that label. I didn't see that. That was kind of like tucked like in between the seam allowance here, but I mean, like you guys would have picked this up, right? Tell me if you would have picked this up or not. This just needs to find the right home. Like I had to do it. There was no way I'm leaving this behind. Like I said, even if somebody just cuts the skirt off and uses it for the skirt alone, that would be a very happy ending for this. But I'm not quite sure what I'll get for this. Maybe $25, maybe if I do a little bit more research on it and it turns out it's an in-demand designer or something, maybe closer to like $100. But more than anything, this was one of those like moral obligation moments as somebody who just loves vintage things. Like, I'm not leaving this behind. Not ever. Isn't that so cute? So next up, I found this great sweater. Felt so nice. I'm like, this feels like merino, but like thick merino, right? Ultra fine, but very thick. And this is from Jack Victor, which is a brand I've never gotten my hands on. Very high-end menswear brand. They make lots of sweaters, lots of like elevated basics. This is a beautiful like purple burgundy ultra fine merino sweater. And this would have retailed close to about $500. And on the resale market, similar sweaters to this are reselling between like 80 and 130. And then like lighter sweaters, slightly like less significant pieces are reselling really like starting at about $40. So Jack Victor is a bolo brand to keep your eyes out for sure. And this is just the start of the quality knitwear that I got my hands on. Like get up close on that weave. Isn't that beautiful? Next up, another vintage piece. Guys, the vintage gettins were so good this week. This is like a 1980s vintage velvet strapless cocktail dress, little short dress. This feels very like revenge dress, if you know what I'm talking about. But it's got this beautiful like beaded sequin panel right up top. There's some light boning in here. The brand on this is Roberta. It's a size 3/4, so I don't know if that is still technically considered like a junior size, but it's in overall excellent condition. No like rips or pulls or anything like that. I love that the little hang straps are lace. You know, it's the little details for me. This is so easily identifiable, like 1980s. I do not think that I will have any issue moving this. I'll probably see like 40, maybe $50 on this. And like I said, this is something that will either go for somebody as like a cocktail dress, or it'll go as a costume, or as like something to be used in like a period theater piece or a period like film, TV, or something like this. Those are the kind of things that it's easier to find vintage than it is to have somebody make a new one that looks vintage. And honestly, even costumes these days, I don't know if you've bought a cheap costume recently, but there's like no costumes out there that are less than like $40. And they are like the cheapest polyester ever made. So that should have no problem going. And if it's not anytime soon, it will almost certainly go before the holidays and Halloween for one of those two things. Next up, I got a pair of jeans. I don't do a ton of jeans, but these were in very good condition. This is a pair of men's page jeans. This is the Lenox cut, so like a slim straight leg. They're in basically brand new condition. Like these do not feel like they've been worn much at all. In case you're ever questioning, this is the newer tag for Paige. I would advise you to not get anything with the older tag, which is like more of a script style tag, unless it's something that's like true Y2K. But for me, I'm only getting things that are the newer tag, and I'm very selective with what I do pick up to resell. Their jeans retail like $200. They're very, very, very expensive, but you just have to be careful to make sure that you're getting like a more modern cut. And they are known for being like very stretchy and very comfortable. So just make sure that you're looking, especially around like the hip area, especially on women's jeans, that there's no puckering going on. Like the puckering on jeans, I'll see if I can find a picture of what I'm talking about here, basically means that the elastic, the elastane or the spandex in the denim is done. Like the term elastic doesn't mean stretch, it actually means the return. Like that's the technical meaning of elasticity, is that it returns from being stretched. And when that goes, you're gonna get that little puckering line. So you'll typically see that like across the hips. And it's just something as a reseller you really need to be trained in on. Obviously, you know, look at the crotch, make sure that the crotch isn't blown out, but also make sure that there's none of that puckering along like the stress points in a pair of jeans. And in almost all people, on their bottom half, they're wide, you know, where they're the widest is like around the hips. So that's usually where that'll occur. But on the resale market for these, I'll probably see somewhere between like 30 and $50. And I would imagine that they'll sell fairly quickly. They're a good size and they're a good style for men's. Next up, I grabbed one of these. This is a vintage LL Bean moleskin shirt. These things just sell so well for me every time I have them. This is definitely older. It's a size XL tall, which I know can be a real struggle for guys. We talk about tall sizes for women, which is definitely a struggle. But I feel like anytime I have a men's piece that is like big and tall, it tends to sell a little bit quicker. Now this is vintage. It's definitely seen a lot of wear. There's a little bit of like fading to it, which isn't a bad thing. Like people like these to have a little bit of fading to it because they do take a long time to break in and get soft. But I'll probably see somewhere between like 25 and $35 on this, and no doubt fairly soon. I mean, like maybe not in summer. This is a heavier kind of shirt. This is more of like a workwear type shirt. Like this is made to take some abuse, but I have no doubt that that will sell reasonably quickly. I love these LL Bean moleskin shirts. Oh, next up, this was a wild one. I saw this on the throwback pile. This is a shirt from Alice and Olivia, and it's a current shirt. They still make it, and this is gonna be incredibly hard to show on camera. So it's like a crop top, and it's got this, you know, band that kind of sits across the shoulders. The bodice sits really close, kind of cropped, and then it's got these like long sheer sleeves. This is a size medium. It's in great condition. Resale on this piece is between like 50 and $70. So another like insanely good find. And again, I grabbed this on the throwback pile. So like, thank you, whoever threw this back. I will gladly get it to a new home. Next up, I grabbed this cute little top. This is from Beyond Yoga. And Beyond Yoga is another one that I've, slowed down on picking up pieces from, with the exception of those kind of crossover pieces that can be worn for workout or just like everyday wear. And this is definitely one of those. It's just a really super soft, lightweight, gray heather hooded sweatshirt. It's a size medium, and it's something that I'll see somewhere probably like 28 to 35 on. Now, if this was a couple years back, this would have gone for like 40, 50 bucks. Beyond Yoga is very expensive and people still really love it. Like their whole thing is like the feeling of their fabrics. This feels like a dream. I think that this is like a modal tensile blend and their leggings are very buttery soft. Not great if you're a runner, they'll pill immediately, but if you're into like yoga or Pilates or like loungewear, leggings for loungewear, you would probably love the feel of their leggings. So soft. But yeah, great little piece. Next up, this is something from White House Black Market, which is a brand I do not pick up almost ever. And the reason I picked this up is because this is silk and it is a silk lace trim camisole. This has a little bit more of like a 1920s vibe to it versus a lingerie vibe. That should not slow this down. It has a little bit of seaming that's made to look a little bit like boning. I don't know if you can kind of see it. It's like right here. Very, very cute. It's in great condition. It's a size large. No, extra large. Something that I'll see again, somewhere in that like $20 to $30 range. And it does have like a little hint of stretch. If this was not silk, I would not have picked this up. Like White House Black Market does not sell well for me at all. When I see like silk pieces, the style of which is like in demand, it gets to the point really where the brand is really inconsequential. It's gravy if the brand is an in-demand brand, but it doesn't necessarily matter who makes it otherwise, as long as it's real silk. So next up, we've got a cute little piece from Maeve, and it's this little like short sleeve sweater. It's this light blue gingham, super cute. Like this is the exact right time to find something like this. It's a size extra large. This is the newest tag from Maeve. So do keep your eyes out for it. It's a little bit different from the last couple ones, like the white and yellow ones. Sold comps on this sweater are between like 30 and 45, depending on size and print. They make this sweater in a bunch of different patterns. This is one of their like, I don't want to call it like a core silhouette, but it is a sweater that they've made for a while. So yeah, a great little find and should be with the color, with the size, all that kind of stuff, should be a very, very quick sale, especially with the fact that it's basically brand new. And I think that they actually still sell this sweater in this pattern. So that's always with Anthropologie, in a landscape where it can be quite saturated for a lot of pieces, this is kind of the ideal situation. All right, next up, we've got another little vintage piece. This is some emerald green velvet. I mean, yes, please. Little straight across cocktail dress. It's got a little bit of like lightning underneath, like in the lining, but you cannot tell on the outside at all, which I am here for. The brand on this is Francais by Huey Walzer. I'm not familiar with that. It is made in the EU, so that's interesting to me, but it's a size, it actually doesn't have a size tag, but I'm gonna guess that this is about a size 10. And honestly, I think that this could be worn with the straps or without if somebody wanted to like alter that. It is otherwise in like pretty much flawless vintage condition. I'm gonna guess that this is probably 90s, just going by the style. Again, perfect condition. I'll probably see somewhere 50 to 60 bucks on this. Wouldn't be surprised if this doesn't sell until, next holiday season, just because dark green velvet tends to be a very winter or like holiday thing. But again, anybody with like super pale skin or red hair would look fantastic in that pretty much any time of year. It is velvet though, so I am being realistic about the fact that that is a warmer than usual kind of fabric. Next up, this is a great little bread and butter, the kind of stuff I will pick up anytime I see it. This is one of those made in Italy open weave linen tops. It's very, very simple. This is something that I won't see a ton of money on, but any of these little made in Italy linen log and look style tops are just very quick sales for me. And that, is a testament to the demand on log and look pieces that exists in the world. But this is just kind of like a pinky tan color. It's about a size large, I'd say. I think that this is supposedly like one size fits all, but I don't think that this would work really above a size large. Very cute. Like I said, somewhere in the $20 range for something like this. No doubt this will go quickly. Next up, here's an example of the Baader-Meinhof phenomenon happening in my life. So this is a cute little linen dress, which of course I'm going to pick up any little linen dresses that I see. This is olive green. It's got the cutest little pleating here along the sleeve. It's a very basic, easy wear kind of dress. I mean, obviously horribly wrinkled. But the designer on this is Redoute, and I'm not quite sure how that is pronounced, but just a few weeks ago, one of you guys had posted in the comments of one of my videos looking for like any kind of information on a tag that you had that was like an R with a circle around it. And you had found out that it was from this brand, and I had never heard of them, but I had gone into their website and looked. I'm like, oh my God, I'm obsessed with their branding. I think that their branding is very nice. And it's kind of like it kind of gives me Muji vibes, but French, if that makes sense. So they sell a lot of like home textiles, bedding and sheets and tablecloths and stuff like that, and like a handful of apparel items that are mostly linen. And I'm gonna guess that this will sell somewhere maybe like around the $30 range. But like a perfect example of me learning about a brand and then like 3 days later finding it in the bins. Let me know if you who initially brought this to my attention, did your piece sell already? Let me know. Next up, I'm just going to show you this. This is a linen duvet cover from West Elm. You know I'm always on the lookout for linen kind of bedding. So anytime I find a duvet cover, I'm always going to tear apart that bin to look for the other pieces like the shams. And sure enough, after a good 20 minutes of digging, I found the 2 pillowcases. This is king size. It's in great condition. West Elm is a very expensive brand. It's not the most expensive, you know, and it's not the most in demand, but I will still probably see between like $100 and $150 on this. It's like a seafoam green. I will pick this kind of stuff up anytime I see it. Primarily only like linen right now, unless I find something from a super high-end brand like a Sfera Brothers or James Purse or something like that. But guys, do not overlook the bedding section because there is money to be made, and almost like always, these are some of my fastest selling things. Yes, they are big. They're a little bit bulky, but they do tend to move very quickly, especially right now. Everybody's looking for linen right now. So color me excited when I find those 2 other pieces. Next up, I found another cute little vintage dress. Oh, this one is so cute. So this, if memory serves me right, I believe is handmade, and it's got the most darling little like a doily neckline here. It's short sleeve, but the thing that I think I love the most about it is that it's this precious little like bluebird pattern. And the other thing that I thought was so interesting, and I've never seen this before, and like I have seen a lot of notions. These are the buttons that close it, but they're not buttons. They're snaps. This is not something that was done like after the fact. Like that is the top of the snap, and it's made to look like buttons, right? I've never seen anything like that. I wonder if this is something that is a little bit more common in like an adaptable garment because, you know, like it takes a good amount of dexterity to like push a button through a buttonhole. So let me know if you are familiar with something like that. Just for my own education, I'll of course dig on my own, but I just like, I'm never leaving something like this behind. So adorable. Again, I'm gonna guess probably 1950s just going on the silhouette. There is elastic in this waist and there's a little bit of stretch left. And I'm gonna guess that this is probably about a size small. It's pretty tiny. Again, something that can easily go for somebody's wardrobe or like a period piece. Adorable. I'm gonna guess somewhere maybe about $40 for this. So cute. So cute, guys. The vintage situation was so good this day, like so good. And we are not even close to done with the vintage gems. But first we have a little bit of a bolo here. So this is a pair of Lululemon Dance Studio pants. I literally just sold a pair of these for about 50 bucks. I will anticipate about the same. They've made these pants for a very long time. They've been very popular for a very long time. They're a size 6. They still have the little tear tag here on the inside. And these, as people have kind of shifted from the leggings for workouts, these Dance Studio pants have become one of the more in-demand things from Lululemon. So very exciting. They're in great condition. This is something that you do need to check condition on. The fabric I have found is a little bit more fragile than a lot of their other textiles. But once you get your hands on it the first time, it's got that really subtle like shadow stripe to it, once you get your hands on it the first time, it is very easy to spot in a bin. So I recommend you get your hands on a pair, you know, the next time you're in a mall if you've never seen it before, and keep your eyes out for it, because they are generally a very quick, very solid, like $40 to $60 sale, depending on size and color and all that kind of stuff. Next up, we've got another vintage absolute gem. So this is a linen dress from Neiman Marcus. And this is, I'm gonna guess, like a 1970s, very cottagecore dress. So it is maxi length. This feels like Irish linen. I have to see internal tags to see if this is in fact Irish linen. It feels like it, but it's a button down front. It's a drop waist. It's actually a little bit of a basque waist, if you can kind of see the seaming kind of comes here. It's not a true basque waist where the waistline goes all the way around. It's kind of like a fit and flare out here, but you have the illusion here of a basque waist. But aside from a few little like age speckles around this is in like flawless condition. So I could see this being like a very bohemian wedding dress. This gives me kind of conservative, this gives me like Gunny Sacks era vibes. So I'm not quite sure. In fact, this was in a brand new row that had just come out, and one of my buddies that was kind of right next to me had, I guess, seen this. And as we got back to our carts and we're kind of like unloading our bags, they were like, "Did you see that Neiman Marcus thing?" And I'm like, "You bet I did. Of course I did." But like, look at the pleating in the back. I mean, it's beautiful. Like I said, I'm pretty sure that this was like a wedding dress. This feels like it was, but I have to do a little bit more research before I make like a guess on what I can get for this. Just making a stab in the dark, maybe about $100. I want to do more research about like what it is, the era, if I can find out anything about like why this was made. Is it like a casual dress, or was it a wedding dress? Like I need to do a little bit more research on what this was, but it's a special piece either way. Next up, now this is a handmade piece that I just thought was so funky. And I feel like this is something that'll go on Depop, but it's this amazing little like patchwork denim jacket. So this is definitely handmade. Like this is not made by a professional, and it's got some really interesting touches to it. So what I think this is I think that this fabric, this patchwork fabric, was like one piece of fabric. Like maybe it was a duvet or something like that. And then these are the legs of jeans. These were like a double knee jean. Like this is a double layer here in the back of the shoulder. Now I don't know if they did the tie-dye treatment on this themselves or if this is how it was, but that's what both of the arms are. And then there's some of that cool, I think it's shibori stitching on like a little hole here in the back. This is just very, very cool. And then on the inside of one of the lapels, you've got a little like buffalo check. I have no idea what I'm gonna get for this, but I'm gonna guess probably somewhere $40 to $50. It's just very, very cool. This is true, pure upcycling in the best kind of a way, and it's definitely a one-of-a-kind piece. So like somebody will grab this just because there is no other thing like this in the world. So it's very cool, and I'm excited to get this to a new home because obviously somebody put a lot of work and a lot of love into this. Next up, another vintage banger. Look at this thing. So I don't know. I don't know about this. So this is like a pink satin. It is quite heavy. I don't know if you can kind of tell the weight of this, but this is all like stitch strips here in the middle. So like looking at the tags, I think that this is maybe from like the late 90s. It's from a brand called Issue, which I've never heard of before. I've never seen that tag before, but the tag looks 90s, right? And this is like a slightly stretch satin, and it's fully lined. Like the construction on this is outrageously good. It almost looks like something that was made to look like a gym dress from like the 50s, but in the 90s. So I have to do a little bit more research on this. Again, something I don't know if this is gonna sell as like a costume or if somebody will wear this as like a regular dress, but it's overall in excellent condition. It's a size 8, but either way, it was something I absolutely positively could not leave behind. This is squarely in that like weird and well-made territory, right? Let me know if this looks familiar to any of you. I did a quick Google image search. I only found one other thing that looked like this. It was a different color. So we'll find out. But again, it's well-made. It's that very like retro, sporty kind of look. And it's just weird. And I am here for the weird. Because you know what? Weird sells. Let me know if you know anything about this. Otherwise, it's to the wormhole for me, you know? Next up, we got another little bread and butter piece. This one is from Madewell. I'm pretty selective with what I pick up from Madewell, but this feels very like of the moment. And it's just this cute little like nubby cotton blend cropped cardigan sweater. It's a size medium. I'll probably see something around $20 for this, and I have no doubt this will sell quickly. This feels very like what Madewell is doing right now, so it should move fairly quickly. I'm always here for a bread and butter sale as long as it's fast, and I have no doubt that this will go quickly. It's super, super cute. Adorable. We are getting there, guys. And next up, I've got a little cashmere cardigan. This one is from Max Studio, which is a brand I don't pick up all that much, but you give me like an open front cashmere cardigan and I'm very on board. It's 2-ply cashmere. Something like this, I'm looking at a minimum of like 30, 40 bucks. Again, it's a size medium, flawless condition, and not a little hole to be found. And I'll tell you, I found a little stash of cashmere, so there is more to come where this came from. So, and just so you guys know, like I will pick up cashmere and sell cashmere all year long. Just like I sell swimsuits in January, I sell cashmere in August all the time. So if you are seeing it at the right price, please don't be walking away from good quality cashmere. Next up, another insane little knit piece that I found in the same place as all that cashmere. This is Pendleton. Another one that like logic would tell you is not going to sell until fall, but like that is almost certainly not the case. I have sold quite a few pieces like this in the dead of summer. It's their classic washable wool. It's a size 2XL. And here's the rub. We share the good and the bad here. So while I was checking this in, I mean, this thing is pretty much like flawless condition. While I was checking this in, I happened to catch the end of the sleeve. Now I'm gonna guess that this is not moth damage. I'm gonna guess that this sleeve got caught in something just because of like how localized that damage is. I don't think that that will stop this from selling. I will just sell this as a damaged thing. You know, a lot of guys will kind of just like cuff up the sleeves on these anyway. So this could be a good like banging around the house kind of sweater where you want that warmth, but you maybe don't want to be wearing your $200, $300 good sweater. So where this would probably be somewhere like an $80 to $90 sale if it was in that flawless condition, I'll still probably get like 30, 40 bucks on this. And you know, maybe this goes to somebody who knows how to knit and can repair this. And that's like best case scenario. But even still, like this is a dang good sweater with the exception of that little piece of damage. And we for sure want to get it a little bit more wear if we can. You know, that's like a lemonade out of lemon situation, right? I was so sad when I was checking it in. But then I just thought to myself, like, otherwise this sweater is flawless. So we will get it to somebody to be just like their work sweater. Something they can take out and chop wood in and not be worried about ruining it, but still have the performance of that classic Pendleton wool. And I have no doubt that that will still sell just as quickly as it would if it was flawless. It's just gonna sell for that lower price point. And honestly, that lower price point is still gonna be a great return on a bins price pickup. Next up, we have another vintage dress, guys. It was out of control this day. Look at this collar. I am beyond obsessed. So it's this little flap. It's got some embellishment. It's got some little jewels here on this flap. So this is kind of the shoulder, right? So it's V-neck. And it's that little classic circle skirt. Another one that I think is handmade and definitely mid 60s or early, I'm gonna guess probably 50s on this one. This one's probably closer to like a size 6, maybe even a size 8, but a little circle skirt, adorable little like retro style print. Like even the print here looks retro. It's 100% cotton. It is absolutely, it's in fantastic vintage condition. A couple little age specs, and honestly with the amount of vintage pieces that I have here, I will be doing a retro clean soak, which is a great little tool if you are unfamiliar with it. It's a great little tool to get like age spots out of vintage garments, just like OxyClean. You don't want to be using it on like silk or anything. You don't want to be using it on really delicate fabrics, but for something like this, like a cotton, it can get old sweat stains that have oxidized. It can get kind of like rust stains out. Like it's fantastic stuff. So I'm gonna guess somewhere 40 to 60 bucks on this once I have it sparkled up. I'll bet that this color with a retro clean soak will lift a little bit. And I'll link retro clean in the description in case you want to pick some up for yourself or you've been looking for a solution for vintage age spots. It's good stuff. But I mean, like, the vintage lover in me is like so happy after this haul. Like I could not believe the quantity or the quality of the vintage stuff that I found. Next up, now this isn't necessarily a vintage thing, at least I don't think it is, but I saw this and I'm like, oh my goodness, this is so cute. This is from Luna Luz, which is a brand I had never heard of. So it's this like cotton jersey bodice. It's got a drop waist. And the main reason that I paid attention to it is because the waist has a very like, I don't want to necessarily call this like a log and look style gather, but this is typically where I see this kind of stuff. Like you have these little ties underneath that kind of create these gathers, and it just gives a very interesting look to the dress. These dresses retail for about $250, I'm pretty sure. Let me show you the label. That's the label that I'm seeing. And on the secondhand market, I'm seeing some of these dresses going up to like $100. So color me excited. This is a size extra large in basically flawless condition. This does not appear to have been worn much at all. It's in perfect condition. I'm gonna guess that this was maybe worn once or twice. So another great piece and another new label I had never heard of before. Let me know if you've ever found anything from Luna Luz. How did it do for you? I'm very interested. Next up, this was another piece. I actually found this really close to that Luna Luz, and this is from Step in Style, which I don't think is a super expensive brand altogether, but the style of this cute little thing I had to grab. This is kind of like a swim cover up. It's got these really interesting sleeves with pickups similar to that Luna Luz. They're not adjustable from the inside, but these kind of like voluminous sleeves and this kind of interesting, again, like log and look silhouette style bottom. I like the fact that the dots go from like small to light. This gives it a very like optic graphic appearance. And even though this isn't a particularly expensive brand retail, some of their pieces resell in the like $40 range, you know, so I'm going to anticipate somewhere maybe like 25 to 35 on this. And I have no doubt this will go quickly. Like this is just a fun little like swim cover up, something you can throw on and go to like the beach bar, have a little bit of visual interest, but still be like covered and comfortable. Like I'm so here for that. Next up, here's another little piece of cashmere that I found. This one's from Wendy B, and I know I've sold Wendy B cashmere before. It's this like dark brown V-neck cashmere sweater. Again, flawless condition. This feels like it's never been worn ever. Maybe once or twice. It's a size large. You know, again, I'm looking at like a minimum of $30 on this. I love this rich brown color though. It's so, so pretty and unusual. You're not seeing much brown cashmere out there, at least on the secondhand market. And brown is just so big this year. So as we're going into fall, be on the lookout for brown pieces, you know, especially as you are doing like your style-based sourcing. Gorgeous. Another cashmere piece, I'm not kidding guys, I found this little cache of cashmere. Actually in this bin, there was a bunch of like dead stock, still in wrapper vintage t-shirts. So the bins bros were like digging around, kind of grabbing all of these, and I'm finding the cashmere. I'm like, I'm throwing them the t-shirts, they're throwing me the cashmere. That's the kind of bins moment you like wait for, right? Where just like everybody's looking for their own thing in the bin and everybody's helping each other out, throwing them what they're looking for. But this is from Chelsea and Theodore, and it's this cute little like surplice neck cashmere sweater. This is a size medium petite, but honestly, like I could just see somebody wearing this as like a slightly cropped cashmere. Again, I'm looking at a $30 minimum on this. I don't think Chelsea and Theodore is like a particularly in-demand brand, but it's not going to be the brand that sells this. It's going to be the style and the fact that it's cashmere. Let me just dig and find that last piece of cashmere. This is a beautiful navy blue mock neck cashmere turtleneck. This one is from Tahari. Again, a brand I don't pick up all that much, but when it's 100% two-ply cashmere in business, this is, again, flawless condition, kind of like a boxy fit. Like this feels like a very modern fit. Honestly, it's looking much bluer in the camera than it does in real life. This is like a nice rich navy, again, in like perfect condition. I think that this one, given the fact that it's a mock neck and navy blue and kind of a boxier fit, I'm gonna see somewhere closer to 40 or 50 bucks. And with those things, I think that this will sell very, very quickly, even compared to the other cashmere pieces, which I think will sell fairly quick, like in a decent amount of time. I think this one will sell very quickly just because of the style. And now I need to make more room in my cedar closet for all of this amazing cashmere and merino I found. That, ladies and gentlemen, is what I like to call champagne problems. Next up, we got a little vintage piece here. This is vintage Brooks Brothers, which has a little bit of like cachet on its own. This is that like golden fleece polo, which is like their classic polo silhouette. It's got the little pig motif there in kind of like a shiny gold. This I'm pretty sure is either 90s or 80s, just going by the look of the tag. And with that, I'll probably see like somewhere between 20 and 30 bucks on this. If this were more like maybe color blocked or a little bit more of like an of the era kind of look, these can go up to like 40, 50 bucks depending on what you've got. But even something basic, like people just love Brooks Brothers and people just kind of look for the vintage pieces. And I don't think that their polo shirts are made in the US anymore. So I think that that adds a little bit more extra demand to it. I know that they do certain pieces still in the US, but I'm almost positive their polos are not one of them. Next up, I grabbed a couple little Zara pieces. This is from their Phil Sense, which is their like all viscose line. It's just a cute little short bell sleeve kind of button down shirt dress. This is all Cupro. So like if you see this tag, that generally means that it is viscose of some sort, some kind of cellulose based textile. And this will sell a little bit higher than like the price range for their typical pieces, which I don't necessarily pick up. I'm just generally very selective with what I pick up. So this is kind of like the bottom of what I'll grab. And I'll probably see $20 to $25 on this. I grabbed it mostly because it's such a cute little like everyday dress and I am here for that. It's getting precarious back here. Next up, this is the other piece that I grabbed from Zara, and this is like a little satin midi length dress. It's got the tiniest little bust here, but it is a size extra small. It's got a little cross back. It's an open back, but it's got like this one little strap in the back that is adjustable, which is quite nice. And aside from a couple little like light picks on the bum where they probably like leaned against a wall or sat on something concrete, something very typical that you'll see in anything satin, this is in essentially like perfect condition. And it's something that I'll probably see like $30 to $35 on. Super cute. Next up, a little Y2K vintage piece, which I just loved. This is from French Connection, a brand I don't see a ton of, a brand I don't really grab when I do see it. But this, I remember this kind of style from that era. Like I call this a little bit less like Y2K and a little bit more as we get into like the indie sleaze / twee era. And French Connection was so expensive, but it's this cute little like military inspired shirt dress. It's got these big wide cuffs that are meant to be like rolled up. It's a size 2. And I mean, even that label, just I remember those labels in these pieces. I'll probably see like 30, 35 bucks on this. And it's super lightweight, super versatile. So I don't think it's something that'll last all that long. I do think that this is a great like vintage piece to kind of like whet the appetite of somebody who's getting into that like vintage era that is starting to emerge. And it's in like perfect condition. I'm gonna guess that this was worn maybe once or twice back then. Next up, this is a great little basic. This is a Skims bodysuit. This isn't their Fits Everybody. This is like I think it's called like the Smooth Sculpt, something like that. But it's a little mock neck, long sleeve bodysuit. I recommend that if you've never felt any kind of Skims pieces, that you take a little time. You know, Nordstrom carries a lot of their pieces. Go there and feel their fabrics. Like their fabrics are very, very distinctive. There is like nothing else out there like them. And once you have like an idea of what they feel like, they're very easy to spot in like a bin situation. You know, something like this was just like wadded up in a corner. It just kind of looked like a little nothing, but because I felt it, I knew exactly what it was and I grabbed it. And for something like this, I'll see like 30, 35 bucks all day and they'll generally sell in just like a couple of days. Their bodysuits sell really well. Their t-shirts sell really well. Their loungewear sells really well. Like pretty much anything Skims is a guaranteed solid fast sale. We're getting there, guys. There was a lot of things. Next up, I found this cute little pair of pants. This is from IMGia, which is a brand that I do really well with. I've heard some of you guys don't do quite as well. But this is very like typical of something that they do. It's a very classic, like straight to boot cut corduroy pant with a little cutout on the hip. So this is something you gotta like mind your skivvies with, but it's a size large and that is the label you are looking for. I will probably see something like 40 to 50 bucks on this. It's funny, like I'll see a lot of people who sell IMGia for like 10 or 15 bucks. Like it's just one of those things that it's a more niche buyer. So it might take a little bit longer to sell it, but like when it does sell, at least for me, because I know what it is, when it does sell, it tends to sell for a very good price. for me. Like I've had dresses sell for over $100. You know what I'm saying? So keep your eyes out for it and do as much research as you can, because if you can figure out that one of the pieces was worn on some reality show and you're able to put like, you know, so-and-so from Big Brother corduroy pants, whatever, that can absolutely positively supercharge that sale for you. Always excited to find IMGA. Next up, this is definitely Y2K vintage. I felt it. I'm like, this is silk. Two different kinds of silk. So it's this little like camisole with a flyaway like flutter opening in the front. There is no tag on the inside and it's horribly wrinkled, but the RN number comes back urban. So I'm gonna guess that this was an Anthropologie piece from the Y2K era, or maybe even like the 2010s. This is definitely a style that kind of like bridged those two eras in fashion. Either way, something like this, because of what it is, will sell for probably like 30, 35 bucks. This is vintage, but it's easy vintage to integrate into a modern wardrobe. It's easy to wear, it's comfortable to wear, all of those good things. So I can't wait to see what this looks like, all like gussied up. I think it's so cute. Next up, we've got another Anthro piece. So this is such a like very specific thing that I'm going to talk about. This is from Dolan, which is one of their brands that they sell. And it's this cute striped open front cardigan. And for me, I used to be a road warrior for work. I used to travel like 2 to 3 times a month. And it's a very specific thing when you are traveling for work. Like the moment that you get to close that hotel room door and you don't have to like talk to anybody else or go to any other meetings or anything like that. I always traveled for like trade shows. So typically when I was out during the day, it was in like crowds and people were asking questions and all those kind of things, right? So this for me is like a perfect travel robe. It's thin, so it won't take a lot of space in like a carry-on if you're somebody who likes to carry on, but it'll give you that kind of like cozy robe vibe where you can just like put this on, order your room service, put on either HGTV or the ID channel, depending on what kind of traveler you are, and just sink into your bed. I know that that is wildly specific, but anybody who has been a road warrior knows exactly what I am talking about. And that's what this is for. So for something like this, I'm probably gonna get like, I don't know, $25 to $32 on it. But I had to grab it because it gave me that like cozy little feeling immediately when I felt it. The first thought in my mind was like, this is so what I wish I had, so that I didn't have to get directly into pajamas after a work day. You know what I'm saying? Like, let me know if you were ever like a heavy business traveler, like what were your rituals once you got in and were able to just like shut off the day? Heaven. It's true bliss. Next up, we've got another vintage piece. This is a cute little like baby doll style 90s Studio East clothing company plaid cotton dress. This is one for Depop for sure. I have no doubt this will go quickly. This is very like cottagecore, Western, granny core, all of those keywords. Something like this will go in no time flat, guaranteed in no time flat. This will sell for probably like 30 to 40 bucks. It's a size 6, very oversized though. And I know like 15 girls who would rock this and look so cool in it. I would look like a grandma. They would look like fashion forward. So I'm always on the lookout for these kind of granny core style dresses, sweaters, shirts. The real holy grail is if you get something like this and it's got like whimsical embroidery. Like these are the kind of things that you should be picking up because the girls in Brooklyn want them. Few more things to go. And this I just thought was so beautiful. So this is 100% silk. It's in the wispiest, lightest pink color. And it is the most stunning little, I think that this is meant to be a dress. I don't think that this is meant to be a nightgown. And I also think that this is vintage. So it's got this V halter neck. It is bias cut, so it's got that little bit of a give. The back has the most delicate little rolled straps, and you can see one of them is detached, but you can kind of clearly see where it detached from, so I can easily get that reattached. But this really, if you can kind of see this, this really just goes around the arm, right? Like this doesn't go all the way down the back. Like this is something that'll just kind of like go around the arm and keep it. And this back will be totally open. So stunning. Now, there's no like regular brand tag right here, but when you find the contents tag, number 1, it looks vintage. Like this absolutely looks like this is probably from the Y2K era. The brand on that is, it looks like Lore, Lore, which I've not been able to find anything that looks like this from a brand called Lorraine. So I mean, this is something that'll 100% sell on its style to start with. Like this is stunning and it's silk and all of the things. So that's not necessarily a concern. I just want to know more about it and maybe like the era that it came from. But given what this is, given the condition that it's in, which is pretty much flawless, I think that I'll probably see somewhere $60 to maybe like $100 on this. And again, I have no doubt that this will sell quickly. I don't know if this is gonna go for somebody for like a prom dress, which I could totally see. But either way, I wanna get this listed ASAP because now is like the perfect time to be selling something like this. But let me know if you're familiar with that brand. There is another brand that is called Lorraine, but it doesn't make anything like this. It doesn't make anything like this. So more research to be done here. But like, I mean, anytime I see a silk maxi dress in any way, shape, or form, like I'm going for it, especially when it's in basically flawless condition, except for that one strap, which is an easy fix. Stunning. And then finally, this is the coup de grace here. This was wild. So I found this one dress and I mean, I saw it, I'm like, this fabric is very interesting. This textile is interesting. And then I kind of pulled out the whole dress and I'm like, yes, 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 all the check marks are being checked off. So it's this kind of oversized, login-looky, brown linen hand-woven dress with this very interesting kind of gathered skirt here. And I look at the label on this and I can tell immediately that it's vintage. I mean, you can kind of smell that it's vintage, but the label on this is Lays Adzer. And I'm certain I'm butchering this, and I think that anybody who was around and into fashion in the 70s is maybe freaking out right now. So I found this, and when I did a quick search on it, I saw some vintage pieces from the 70s. I guess she was really big in the 70s. I saw some of her vintage pieces being sold for like between $300 and $500. So, I mean, it's a new brand for me. I have to do a little bit more research, but like there were quite a few pieces out there that were selling for like no less than $100, most of them in the $200 to $300 range. And then when you go on like First Dibs, there's a couple pieces that are for sale in like the $500 to $600 range. So not only did I find one, but I found three. Oh my God. So they're all vintage for sure. And this one has a different tag than the initial one. It looks like a lot of the tags that I'm seeing for sale are this like woven tag that looks very 80s. So I need to do a little bit more research about how active she was and when she was active. But this is kind of like a batwing dolman top. It looks like there might have been a belt, but she also makes these big kind of metal, incredible like artsy belts. She's based out of Morocco. These are all hand-woven textiles made in Morocco. They're made in Morocco. And like just stunning. First of all, I love this color. The skirt is bias cut and it kind of flares out. There's a little bit of staining on here, so I'm gonna do some work on that, but like just gorgeous. And then this was the third one that I found. And this one is yellow. And this one didn't have the brand tag, but it had the same like contents tag that the other two had. And this one had the most incredible, the kind of like knotwork collar here. And you can kind of tell that this is how the woman who owned it wore it. You know, she kind of tied it up on one side. Again, a little bit of staining on this one. The brown one is basically flawless. These two are structurally flawless with a little bit of staining, so I'll do a little work on them. But guys, please let me know what you know about this designer. I'm gonna be doing a lot of digging because like, oh my God. I mean, I'm gonna be conservative and bank on like $60 to $100 each, but I wanna take my time and do my research on these and make sure that I price them accordingly because like, holy crap. You know, if these dresses could turn into $1,000, that would be a pretty dang good day, right? But guys, that is it. That is the insane haul that I had in one day. Guys, the vibes were high, the pickings were good, the vintage situation was amazing. New bolos, existing bolos, like this haul had everything. Everything I could ever ask for. Now, in terms of a retail value on everything that I've got here, it looks to be about $6,000 or $7,000. But in terms of resale value, and obviously there's a lot of like question marks with these three dresses, I think I've got somewhere between like $2,000 and $3,000 in terms of resale value. One of the best profits that I've ever made from the bins in one day, ever. I'll take it. But guys, I thank you so much for hanging with me. It is always so nice to know that there are other people that nerd out about the same things that I do. I know we are all just so crazy busy, so the fact that you guys choose to take a little bit of your time to hang with me, just the kindest gift you could ever give me. But guys, if you had fun, please consider leaving a like or comment on this video. Of course, don't forget to hit subscribe. I would love to have you along on this journey. All of that helps me out so much with YouTube. But without further ado, guys, I hope you have the most beautiful week. Happy hunting, and I will see you all in the next one.